Okay, thank you again for plugging into another video. My name is Justin Connor. I am a marketing and sales consultant. I work diligently on helping insurance producers and also marketing agency owners grow and scale their business through consulting services and, of course, marketing strategies. Today, I'm very excited about today's video because the topic is going from procrastination to motivation. So from procrastination to motivation. And here's what this means. So most individuals, the reason that they are not motivated, right, and not excited in a lot of ways is because they haven't built momentum. And momentum can only be built when you get over the things that are holding you back from taking action and stopping you on a daily basis from doing the things that you need to do. And that's really the root of your procrastination, is actually not knowing what you need to do. So here is my, call it a 2-step or a 3-step formula to start moving yourself from procrastinating to actually being motivated and actually moving to the next level in your life. So you have to start by asking yourself one of the most important questions. And this is probably the most important question that I've ever asked myself. And that question is, so speaking to yourself, and I'll speak to myself in this case. So Justin, here's the question. Did Justin in 5 years from now, if he looks back at you and you guys are having a conversation and the things that you're stressed and worried about today that you're not taking action on and you don't do those actions, Justin from 5 years down the road, what is he going to say to you? Is he going to be proud? Is he going to be happy? Is he going to be grateful? Or is he going to be super dissatisfied, shameful, feeling guilty, and feeling like, oh man, there's a lot that could have been done? So I learned this principle, I believe it's like the Scrooge principle or something like that from Tony Robbins. But when you really think about it, I want you to take some time to ask yourself that question. Me in 5 years, if I'm looking back 5 years from now, back to today, and am I taking the necessary actions, doing the right things on a daily basis where I'm going to be grateful and proud of myself and excited for myself as I get to that point 5 years down the road? And here's the clear answer. If you're not, and you're not going to be satisfied with what that looks like, with what those results are on the back end, with where you're going to be down the road, then that means the root of your problem is starting to take new actions today so that you can be proud of yourself in 5 years. Now, I don't want to go too far past this point because it's really important to make sure you take action on it. I would say right now, pause this video. I'm still going to drop some more value here, but go ahead and pause this video, like, subscribe, share this with somebody who you know needs it, but pause it right here and take a minute, breathe. If you're into meditation, if you follow some sort of breath work, take a second to get into the present moment and ask yourself that honest question. Whatever your name is, Amanda, Alyssa, John, Jared, John, said John twice, couldn't think of any other names. But with that being said, say your name to yourself and say, hey, John, in 5 years, am I going to be proud of myself based on the actions and attitude and the things that I'm doing today? Am I going to be proud of myself based on what I'm doing right now? And if the clear answer is no, you really need to take inventory of that. And then it's starting to build and reverse engineer a plan so that you can start to take action to get to that next level. Now, here's the second part of the formula, if you will. Second part of the formula is that remembering that two basic principles: Rome was not built in a day, and how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. So I want you to really consider the root of the reason why a lot of people continue to procrastinate is because they're so afraid of their big picture goal. Because they set these goals that maybe, and I don't want to use the term unrealistic, because I personally believe that anything is possible. You can manifest, you can create anything into your life if you chose to do so, but not from a position of possibility, but more so, hey, that's way past anything that I've ever achieved, anything I've ever accomplished this far in my life, anything that I've been able to bring into fruition into my life up until this point. So because it's such a big goal, a stretch goal, and it moves you past your comfort zone, you take no action at all because you're more afraid of not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing how it's going to come into place. And that is really the root of a lot of your procrastination. It's not knowing and having these big ambitious goals that just scare you too much. But remember, bringing it back to this beginning sentence here is remembering Rome was not built in a day. An elephant can be eaten one bite at a time. And if you start to take that small little idea and that principle, which is, let's take a little bite here. Let's start taking this small action here. Let's start building some momentum here. I'll give you a prime example. So my younger brother came up to me and he's like, Justin, I want to build an agency. I want to do what you're doing. I want to be able to grow a business. Even though I'm going to be a career professional soon, I want to be able to have some supplemented income. So as soon as I start my job, I have some money coming in. And I started to send him some recent transactions, 3,000 here, 4,000 here, 5,000 here. He's like, wow, that's so cool. And I did that in the idea of keeping him motivated, keeping him focused on what the goal is. But the problem for him was that he was trying to get to those big numbers, which is absolutely the goal, but he was trying to get there without taking step one. And step one was sending out some cold emails. Step one was going out and making some cold phone calls so he can kind of get the dust off and learn how to build the skill and learn how to start to establish himself in these conversations so that he can get more comfortable with talking to people, because he's never really had a sales background. He's been a student basically and gone to school for the past 6 years, whatever it may be, in college, and he never learned the skill of sales. So I'm trying to teach him like, hey, you need to walk before you run, crawl before you run. So the most important thing you need to do is conversations, not sales, not having the perfect dialogue, not having the perfect script, not having the perfect offer. You need cold calling because you need to get out of your own way. And then as you take that small step, that little step right there is exactly the caveat that you're going to need to catapult you to then be able to have a better conversation. So cold calling will lead to better, more comfortable conversations. If you're more comfortable in your conversations, you can more easily establish and build trust with your prospect. When you're building trust, you can then ask the uncomfortable questions like, what is your business doing? Where do you want to go? Tell us how much your revenue is. What are you trying to achieve? And what stopped you? And all the uncomfortable questions that most people are so afraid to ask. And the reason they're afraid to ask is because they never took the time to do the cold calling to get comfortable and being able to have a conversation to establish trust. So what I explained to him is I said, Josh, and some of you probably know who he is, my younger brother. So Josh, you need to start with cold calling first, not in the interest of all of a sudden you're going to be like perfect in a day, perfect in 3 days, perfect in 72 hours. It's going to take a week or two before you really kind of get out of your own way so that you can get more comfortable with these conversations. And then your expectation can start to increase a little bit more towards now having better qualified conversations and moving that person maybe a little bit closer to the sale. But the reason why he procrastinated in the beginning is because he was so focused on having the perfect pitch, the perfect offer, the perfect manipulated offer so that it sounded so great, so sexy on the phone. But what he really needed to do was take a couple steps back, become more effective and efficient in conversations and asking uncomfortable questions, which was then eventually going to lead to him getting better results and getting more growing his business very quickly, just as I was able to do. Because if you do the little things that most people aren't willing to do, the little things, so it's one step at a time, taking this idea back is one step at a time, you follow that idea, you're going to start to get better results. Now, I know cold calling is kind of like a, everyone's got their opinion on it, but for me personally, I actually, for a short amount of time when I was, initially selling insurance, man, I was making 600, 700, 800 phone calls a day. Cold call, didn't matter. Old leads that were like 120 days old, didn't matter. I was just trying to build the skill. I was trying to get more comfortable in having conversations. So let's really wrap this whole thought together. By the way, if you're getting some value here, drop a comment below, like this video, go ahead and subscribe, share it with somebody. Because if you believe that this is good information, good value, somebody else probably would feel the same way as well. So understand something. Let's bring this all together. Now, your procrastination, the number one way to fix procrastination so that you can now be more motivated, is to figure out your burning desire, your why, and you're going to find that by asking yourself, where do I want to be in 5 years? And based on what I'm doing now today, am I going to be happy, grateful, and satisfied with myself in 5 years if I keep doing what I'm doing now? And then the second thing is understanding that Rome was not built in a day. Anything that you want to achieve in your life, all the most important goals and dreams that you have for yourself will not be achieved in an instant, but the way you get started is by taking one step at a time. Every mile that's ever been ran was the first step got done, then the second, then the third, then the fourth, and the fifth. Start to build yourself some momentum. You'll remove that procrastination because now you're moving. And once you remove procrastination, you're going to find a sense of motivation because now you get a little bit of validation from the actions that you're taking. And as long as you stay focused on those specific tasks, which is figuring out what the heck you want, where you're trying to go, what you want your life to look like. You figure that out and get honest about what you're doing now, and then figure out the things that you need to do to start to take small actions towards getting there. You're going to have an incredible life. Things are going to start to come into your life abundantly. It's not even going to make sense because you're just taking the right actions now that actually equate to the goals that you're looking to achieve. It's cause and effect. Very simple. So thank you so much again for plugging into another video here. We're going to continue to come with more content, more value. So please go ahead and subscribe, share this with somebody, go ahead and like this video. And again, please drop in the comments anything that you would love to learn about. I'm consistently my goal is to drop over 1,000 videos this year. Man, I can't believe I just spoke that out there because now everyone's going to keep me accountable. My goal is to drop 1,000 videos this year. So please, any topics, any ideas that you're looking to go over, drop them below. I'm happy to make some videos on it. Thanks so much, Justin. Check it out.